This is awesome.
So cool.
Yes, I feel very cool. So Scholar was an interesting project from the get-go for us. Our office is located here at 89 Ionia Avenue, downtown Grand Rapids. And what's cool is we have our own front door. I was always excited about the idea that we felt approachable, that people could come in and introduce themselves.
Being in business, I would go out for business meetings and looking for, high quality food, great service, but also an environment that's a little more fun vibe, hipper, cooler, what have you. Yeah, so had that idea in my mind and actually looked at a couple properties in town and learned that this 11 Ionia was available, and so went ahead and purchased the building. Wasn't exactly sure at that point what we were going to do, but as we fine-tuned that concept and of course met our executive chef Taylor and general manager Olivia, and as we got together we realized our concept ideas were very much similar.
My name's Taylor Boshenstein, concept creator, executive chef.
And I'm Olivia Boshenstein, and I'm the general manager and operator.
Well, sure enough, earlier this year, a car pulled up out front one of the parking spots, and she looked over and saw on our window that we do graphic design, photography, videography, and web design. I could see her kind of eyeball in the window. The lady introduced herself and told us that she was going to have lunch with a friend who was opening a restaurant, and that he needs all the things you guys do.
It made me think, brick and mortar is not dead. So that was how we first learned of the company. It was literally at the moment that we were trying to think about who we'd partner with for our marketing efforts.
Sure enough, a few days later, we got a phone call from Michael Winks. He shared with us that they were actually initially interested in primarily web design. Like that was the first activation that they were looking to talk about. So we had to get together here in the Launchkit office and talked about starting a web design project.
We had that initial meeting and I was like, it was a very good vibe, I would say.
So priority one is we were getting a little bit into the design concept was established, but we didn't have the logo created. We didn't really round out the entire branding of it.
And they had a building, a name, and they had a logo at the time that we could tell that they weren't excited about.
In that meeting particularly, it was interesting because we didn't really know what they were looking for until we sat down with them, and then that kind of became evident as we started asking them about the website and stuff.
After that meeting, we were just gonna do website, and I was pressing Michael. I was like, no, they need to do everything.
Logo, typography, website, and social media management, and videography. We just needed it.
For a business like this, that's gonna have a customer-facing presence in the city, having that solid foundation was crucial for building a successful business. They opened up to the idea of starting with an official brand development project.
I always like to ask the question first, kind of who are you? I think that's a really great starting point because you get a sense immediately for how they answer that question.
Yeah, we were impressed with what I'll say the foundation of approaching a brand design, and we know it's so much more than just a logo. And just from that initial meeting to really dig in with thought-provoking questions about who are we, who do we want to be with this concept.
I'm a big believer in piecing together the emotion behind something, and that ultimately leads to better design, whether that's in the logo, the website, content, or the various pieces of a brand. And so if you can get a read on what people are feeling and what kind of feelings they want to express through whatever it is they're creating, then ultimately we can help them create the pieces that are going to help bring that together.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
That's probably my favorite part.
Yeah, you had a lot of fun with that.
The first thing we always do is what we call a stylescape. Before we even get into the logo, we build a board that essentially has colors, images, potential, what a menu might look like in this case, or drinks, patterns might look like in the restaurant, those kind of things. So we put it all together in a very intentional way.
I would say that's where we really started making some awesome progress, was after we had that big mood board presented to us, and we could make critiques
we could
off
literally
that.
see it.
That's where we really nailed a bunch of stuff down.
Yeah, the picture's worth 1,000 words. We could see that board. I'd say it was fairly spot on, when we saw that board, and very little changes from it.
Logo design's it's pretty messy. Anyone who's been in the office with me watched me do it. Sometimes I start with colors, sometimes I start strictly black and white. And then I jump into a sketchbook and I just start hand drawing. Once you get into that process a little bit, you start to uncover kind of themes and places your brain kind of goes. And then once I have a couple ideas, I'll jump back in the computer to finalize them up and ultimately get them ready to present to a client.
That meeting we had when he presented the 3 different logos that were pretty completely different, and we liked all 3 of them, which was a problem, but obviously it ended up, working out really well, and we landed on, a logo that's everywhere, which is cool.
There's usually one that we're like, this could be the one. And I remember designing the S and kind of think to myself, yeah, this feels like everything they were talking about, that they were expressing.
Literally, like you said, I wanted to put it everywhere and get it out there, and I wanted it to be something simple that people would just recognize. They're like, oh, that's Scholar. Like, just the S, they'd be like, it's like what Scholar is in our concept and just a logo. So that's why it was so exciting. And
felt like it expressed that kind of elegance that they were looking for within the space.
Did a great job embodying everything.
Yeah, the logo and the color scheme, really just shows up everywhere then. So the color of our menus is the same, what came out of that brand board.
And it was time to essentially take that foundation to the web. The brand development essentially laid the foundation of the site so that we knew what colors to use, what aesthetic to go for, and the tone of voice that was going to be communicated on the website pages.
From the start, I really wanted to be on the same page with Scholar as far as vision went. I think it helped that I was in on some of those very early brand meetings. I had a good idea of where they wanted to be positioned within the market.
I feel like Mackenzie just got to kind of
I feel
sit in the
that
corner
was
and
the
hear
easiest.
everything, and listen to everything that we were doing. And she pretty much just made the beta, and it looked great right off the bat.
Really want to be able to reflect how it feels within the space on that website. So when somebody goes to the website, maybe they haven't been in the restaurant yet, they get a feeling for how they're going to be when they're sitting down eating with their friends and family.
Well, I feel like a lot of people even now use the website to see the different floors, so they can book on OpenTable.
Yeah.
Because you do have the option of what floor you want to be.
Where would we be seated? What would the space look like? What type of food are you serving? So of course our menu and the things that folks can, anticipate or learn more about when they come. And then reservation system obviously was key.
I'd say that's number one is helping guests choose the experience that they
And
want
to make them understand
help
like the
themselves.
different feels of each floor.
Michael and I had a lot of collaboration regarding branding when I was working through the website. One thing that was a big thing was fonts. Fonts appeared differently the way they had on some of the branding materials that Michael had made, focusing on like signage and menus.
Originally, we're like, oh yeah, that font's great. And then we see it on a website, we're like, we hate that font.
So we took a look at these things and kind of worked through some other fonts that still fit with the brand, that were similar, but not necessarily the ones he picked out originally.
The changes and updates, I think she had that dialed in.
So I know the initial version of the site, it's not what's currently live. We started out with a very basic version of the site. On that site, we had a home page, we had access to the menus, and we had a contact page.
Coming soon, we wanted to make sure we had a place for folks to go to and say, who is this group? What can I expect?
This allowed them to get a presence on Google, start building domain authority, and kind of just get their name out there, even though all of the specifics weren't ready yet.
All the basic information that somebody would want to be there, but I didn't want it to be too much
Overwhelming.
information. Yeah, too much and overwhelming to where you're just kind of like, I don't want to pay any more attention to this.
It was also quite fun to see the social medias being developed at the same time the website was going live. It was cool to see the commonalities in the brand and on each of these pages really look similar, and you can feel Scholar's digital presence within the website, social media, and the same thing when you walk into the space, it all feels like the same brand.
With a new business, they obviously were starting from nothing, so they had no Instagram profile, no Facebook, no Google My Business, and we all saw a good opportunity for LaunchKit to get involved and to provide that service for them as well.
There were two kind of initial needs from the content at the beginning of the project. And one was to supply the website, and one was to build a social media presence. So while we wanted to have a really cohesive look in the content across the board, they did kind of serve a different purpose, right? The website content was more to actually show what's going on, right? What's it gonna look like? Whereas the social content, we kind of took an approach of, let's tease this space and kind of build some buzz and like keep it a little mysterious and not reveal it all until they're ready to actually open.
Yeah, like we had the timeline kind of set up of when we wanted to start rolling out with content, but then we had so many pushbacks. As soon as we had that stuff figured out, it was good to be able to just like start producing content right away, which we did also.
That's really where we were able to start up with the social accounts. Before we could really showcase a ton of the space, it started off with just little details and showcasing enough to get people talking.
I mean, the buzz was already around the city, you know, like we've done some interviews with some people, but I think for them to like actually see we're live on social media is really exciting for everyone.
And we weren't exactly sure what type of community response we'd get, and then in the end it was amazing. As we put it, the coming soon, announced the grand opening, certain groups would pick up that reel and share it way higher than we would have ever imagined.
You almost couldn't really tell what you were seeing, right? It's these little fine details of like a leather couch or this really intricate tile work behind the bar. I feel like the timing of that really worked well, because as it gets revealed and they're like, wow, this spot is really dope, I'm excited to go there, they're also getting introduced to who they're gonna see when they go there and who's actually gonna make the food, and giving a little bit of personality behind the brand as well.
It was really cool to watch people engage with the content we were starting to put out because it started a lot of buzz about maybe questions when they were opening, what kind of food. It was really helpful just to work alongside our team at Launch Kit and also the team at Scholar, because we really felt like an extension of their team. So if I ever had questions with copywriting or questions for Noah about certain media, I really felt like we could lean on each other and work together.
You know, did the shoots and we trusted him to run with it.
It's been really cool at first to start with the space, but then start to showcase the food, showcase the people, and really develop a strategy behind how we wanted to execute those posts.
We don't need to provide any content now.
Right.
It was when Haley's like asking us to sign off on a caption. We're like, it's good, just post it, you know what I mean? Like, we trust you totally.
And now we're getting into the point where, okay, people know about Scholar, so now let's give them a reason to stick around, which I think comes from the personalities, comes from the people, getting a little more behind the scenes, a little bit pulling back the curtain, rather than at first everything was really masked.
It was very collaborative in the beginning, but here we are a month later, and we're already, you know, ready to pass off the torch entirely to just say here. I
kind of get the advantage of being able to be in the restaurant and be able to talk with the owners and Chef Taylor and Olivia, and you know, every couple of weeks it seems like. So I feel like I'm able to create content that Scholar is wanting to see, and then come back and communicate that with Haley and put it out in a way that we think fits the vibe of the brand really well.
Social media really helps to serve a potential customer of Scholar because they know what to expect when they come in.
People are visual learners, you know, and I think it helps a lot to be able to see exactly what you're getting into, what to expect, and makes them a little bit more, you know, willing to come in and try something new.
Especially with the website that Mackenzie designed and the social media, they can look across and see, and just gives them a really good overall understanding of what they're going to expect right when they walk in the door.
This project has been a really fun one for Launch Kit. It was a cool opportunity for all the team members to come together and work on something as one team. We were each able to contribute to the project from our unique perspectives, with Michael starting us off on the branding, to Mackenzie stepping in to begin the website, to Noah and Haley stepping in to fill that website with content.
Overall, my favorite part is seeing everything come together, and like our staff is amazing. We got really lucky with our staff, and everything just runs smooth now.
As we got the branding done, as the website was started, as we were walking through the space and more things were being built out, now they have social medias, now there's all this content. It's been a really cool first full circle moment to see all of this come together.
And to see this thing that comes from my brain onto a screen and then becomes so much more, and now all of a sudden everyone has their hands on it. To see it kind of live out in the world, that's always a really surreal feeling.
I think for us too, it was just like, we did this.
Yes, it's extremely rewarding to see people accept and, like the concept that we came up with. Just like we got lucky with our staff and our team. Kevin and Launch Kit got really lucky with an awesome staff and team as well. I liked how thorough Launch Kit was.
Yeah.
I really liked how emotionally connected Launch Kit was. Yeah, professional, and it felt like you genuinely cared. You really wanted to do right by us in every way, which is very much appreciated.
Yeah, and it's not like you guys created everything and then dropped us off, good luck. It's like you guys are going to be with us forever.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's great to have, this marketing team that's essentially outsourced but feels like they're part of the team. I would like to see our journey grow, and we've had great community support and guests coming in, and we want to remain engaged with them and build regulars and build repeat business, obviously, and how can Launch Kit help us with that journey is probably our next step.
I think one of the cool byproducts of doing our brand development, web, and content process is it's the opportunity for business owners to work on their business instead of in their business. We see so often that business owners get caught up in the day-to-day operations of their business that it's easy to overlook working on your business. Coming in here into the Launch Kit office is the opportunity to pause, take a deep breath, and look at your business from a fresh perspective. We help you figure out things like your values, mission, vision, and ultimately where is this thing going. What you learn from the Launch Kit brand development process will help aid your decision making going forward.
I'm impressed with the community support. You don't always know how it's going to be received until you throw the live switch, and we've just been really blessed to have as many folks as we have that have just really taken a strong interest in coming here and celebrating and dining with us.
And so we think we're just really lucky to be a part of the community down here.
Yeah.